Hello and welcome. I'm your host Elizibar. It's a overcast day outside, but you know what? There's plenty of light to read comic books by, especially fun books. And this book was a ton of fun. It's basically Star Trek, the greatest hits. Like if you go into it expecting that, thinking that, you're gonna have a blast with this book. So what do I mean by that? I mean, come on. We've got Wesley and the Traveler. We've got the Amanda Q. We've got her handing out Q weapons, which take on all kinds of crazy forms to everybody. Look at O'Brien back there with the Tommy gun. Look at him. Look at Janeway. Thinking about all the damage she can cause. Now, what are they going to do with Q weapons, right? Like, what's wrong? Why do they have to go get Q weapons? Yeah, that's a bad idea. Starfleet has orders to destroy Omega molecules on site. So they turn the tables, and Q just starts making monsters to throw at him. Uh, the good Squire of Gothos, of course, leads Q's army, and you can see like all the greatest hits, man. These things, the Salt Vampires, Borg. I forget what those are called, but they were in like one episode. They look way weirder here than on TV. I can't remember what those are called. So you can kind of get the gist of the issue from this. So basically, the heroes are good captains, with Amanda basically blocking Q's omniscience, seeing them, gives them guns. They plan their attack. They're going to assault Q, and then Bashir here is going to go snipe Q. Brilliant plan, right? Now, I presume this takes place like after the Q Civil War, and I don't really exactly remember which series Amanda Connor was in and all that. I'm guessing it was Next Generation, but I totally don't really remember right now like what her whole deal was. But it doesn't matter. Ultimately, everything you need to know about the principal characters is just told to you as they explain to each other what's going on. What do I mean by that? What I mean is Kirk has no idea what a Q is. He has no idea what Q weapons are. He has no idea like how to fight them. And that's kind of what he says. He's like, "All right, well how do we do this?" You know, it's like I'm game. I'm going to give myself a cool like Starfleet super old school phaser rifle, and they go. It's crazy stuff. They're totally using the Iconian Gateway that Janeway got back in, what was that, like the first round of the game? Using that to open a portal. The Traveler and Wesley using their combined powers to open it up. Like everything in this series pays off. Like the rules of Chekhov's gun are totally obeyed here. The art in this issue is probably the best art in the whole series. They really nailed how to make the artists, the different layers of art work together. The penciler, inker, and colorist. They figured out how to make it work. There's only one time in this whole book where I wasn't sure who somebody was. And let me go find that for you real quick. I should have put on a bookmark or something. Yeah, it's right here. I have no idea who that is. Also, Quark looks terrible right there. That these are maybe the two worst panels in the book. Quark has no interesting detail on him. Like you know it's Quark because he's got a really big ear and he's got that bronze skin tone that Ferengi have. But otherwise, and well, also the Quark clothes, but there's no detail. This his pants or his hips or something is completely wrong for his pose right here. Like this is not natural leggage. And then here, I honestly have no idea who that is. Maybe we can look back at that picture of the whole cast. It's her. Who is that? That's a pretty bad place for me to be. We're at the end of this book. I don't even know who that is. Hold on. Let's go back to the inside cover where they have like the key. Everybody, is that Deanna Troy? I guess that's supposed to be Troy. Yeah, it's totally got to be Troy. There's no one else here that looks like that. Could be Torres? I don't see her here either. Which is blind. You know, at some point, I don't even think they drew Torres in this. Yeah. I don't even see Torres. Wasn't she part of this? She's in the cast list on the inside cover. Anyway, we get this great battle sequence that plays out the greatest hits. We see all the different creatures. Well, not all of them. We see a lot of different creatures that all the different crews have encountered. We see Q being Q. The Squire Gothos, you know, he's still like thinking it's a game. He's just having a great time, even though it's a war. At the end, we get a fairly satisfying resolution, although, being that it's coming from Q, it is super abrupt. I'm just going to kind of give you a little hint of what that looks like without showing everything off. So here, wow, Q powers. So, whoosh. And then suddenly, we're at a peace conference. It's super abrupt, but given the nature of Q, how fickle he is, and his demonstrated past of doing exactly that sort of thing, it makes perfect sense. It absolutely makes perfect sense that Q doing that's how it gets resolved. I still think everything I've said about this book in the last few issues is true. The authors totally understand these characters. They get their voices pretty right. I'm currently watching Next Generation. Picard sounds like Picard. Anytime somebody else that was on Next Generation talks, they sound like the Next Generation counterpart. That's not easy. That's actually pretty difficult to get that many different voices right. I mean, you have like at least a dozen human characters plus the deities like talking in any given issue. So that's a lot of individual voices to maintain their identities. But they do it. They absolutely do it. The art here finally has kind of gotten to a very satisfying point. I showed you the Trelawney, right? Like, that's a great panel. I would like more detail in the art, but given the art style that's here, I've either gotten accustomed to it or it's grown on me or something, but I kind of dig it. It's got its own look. It's not riding anybody else's coattails. It's not jacking anybody's style. It's doing its own thing. Totally got to respect that. The Q conflict was a lot of fun. I don't know that it's convinced me to get into any other Star Trek comics, but this one miniseries was pretty fun. If you haven't checked out the series, it might be worth. This has got to be coming out in a trade pretty soon. Let me flip open the back here, the ad matter, and see if there's a date or something. Let's see. No, I was thinking to be here where they're advertising all the other Star Trek stuff. And then here's just like solicits. So yeah, it doesn't look like they have it listed here, or if they do, I sure don't see it. But it's probably a month or two. The collected edition, the trade, will be out, and you should check it out. Pick it up in the store, flip through it, see if it's your jam, if my video hasn't convinced you that it is. If you're into Star Trek, if you're into Next Generation, if you're into the original series, if you're into Voyager, if you're into Deep Space Nine, if you're into any of these four core shows. I said that word and I'm like, is that the right descriptor for it? But no, that is. That's like the core of what Star Trek is in those four shows. Although Voyager, Janeway is totally like psychopath, but she's also presented with a very unusual situation, even by the standards of the other Star Trek crews. So, maybe give her a little leeway for the fact that she's a psychopath and she travels time against the law, bringing Borg technology back on a super Voyager. Just not to mention all the time she committed genocide and you know what? The Prime Directive is really more of a suggestion. That's one thing that I've learned from watching Star Trek. They'll agonize about it a bunch, and then they'll do whatever they want anyway. Wow. That went into a weird place. Check out this book. Check it out. I think you might like it. I'll see you next time. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And there should be some stuff you can click on, and I would appreciate you clicking on stuff. Every little bit that you do helps. Bye-bye.